welcome back to another installment of Batman. Now, our last video, what we saw was Batman went up against the GhostMaker. Now, GhostMaker stabbed him and took him down. Now, GhostMaker also took down Harley Quinn and Clown Hunter. So, all of them are in captivity and imprisoned by the GhostMaker in Arkham Asylum. How will Batman get out? Will Clown Hunter still try to kill Harley Quinn? Also, in this issue, we find out the origin of GhostMaker. So, some important discoveries in this issue that you don't want to miss. So, if you guys are ready, let's dive into Batman, number 104. We begin with Batman. He wakes up and he's all stitched up. He's no longer bleeding. He quickly realizes that he's in Arkham Asylum. Harley Quinn and Clown Hunter are right beside him in other beds. Now, GhostMaker tells him, "I brought you to the one place in Gotham you really belong." Now we shift and we see in Bloodhaven. Nightwing goes inside and he's trying to stop like this robbery, right? And he's talking to Oracle and he says, "I'm coming back tonight." Now Barbara says, "Dick, that's not why I called." Now Nightwing responds, "I know, I'm still coming back though. Tell me everything." Now Barbara tells him, "Batman's been out of communications for 6 hours now, and things keep happening all over the city. 5 hours ago, the leaders of 14 of the city's most dangerous gangs turned themselves into GCPD headquarters, all of them showing bruises and some broken bones. There were U-Haul trucks packed to the brim with weapons and narcotics parked outside. Professor Pig was found in his old cell in Arkham, despite having been at large for the last 8 months. The Yakuza, the Triads, and the Whisper Gang have abandoned the city entirely. 6 dead at the Iceberg Casino from sword wounds." Now, Nightwing, talking to Barbara, says, "I can't believe GhostMaker actually came back to Gotham." And Barbara says, "I can't believe you knew about him and I didn't. I've been trying to get a glimpse of him all night." Now, Nightwing, going through these rooftops, says, "You won't, not from the clock tower at least. Who from the family is in Gotham right now?" Barbara says, "I have Cass and Steph in the field. Tim and Damian are out of the city. Duke is on standby to pick up the morning shift." Now, Nightwing going into this one area, he has his motorcycle, right? And he says, "I'm on my way from Bloodhaven. I should be at the clock tower in under an hour." So Nightwing's trying to get from Bloodhaven to Gotham to help out with the situation. Now we see Barbara. She says, "Yeah, I'm not letting you off the line. I need more information. What's happening here? Who is this GhostMaker?" Now Nightwing, driving in the streets with his motorcycle, says, "I've never met him. I've only seen him once. I honestly don't remember who we were chasing. It wasn't the penny plunderer, but it was someone on that level, a nuisance with a gimmick who stirred up trouble every now and then. We got word they were fleeing the country en route to Singapore. We decided to be in there. I remember it was rain when we landed in the private airship by one of Wayne Enterprises' international subsidiaries. And there was a figure waiting for us in the rain. We see the GhostMaker. He's out in the rain. Batman walks out, confronts the GhostMaker. They have a very intense conversation. Now, Dick, who's in his Robin costume, just watches this all. Now, inside the Batmobile, he watches as Batman comes in. Batman says, "We're going back to Gotham." Now, Dick responds, "I don't understand. We're letting the bad guy go? Because of some weirdo with a couple of swords?" Now, Batman says, "GhostMaker will finish the job and see he's extradited back to Gotham." Now, Dick says, "Batman." Then Batman punches the keyboard inside the Batmobile, the controls. He breaks these controls. He's kind of mad. Now, Dick says, "I'm pretty sure Alfred's gonna make you fix that yourself." Now, Batman says, "I'm sorry, Dick." Now, Dick responds, "Why are you so upset? Who is that man?" Now, Batman says, "Probably the most selfish, arrogant person I've ever met in my life. A long time ago, he was a friend. I don't talk that much about the years I spent abroad, honing the craft of crime fighting, the road that ended with Batman. But the start of that road, I was just like any young man. I didn't know who I was or who I would become. Bruce explains that he went on all these different journeys, gained all these different martial arts, and he met a friend, this man, and they became friends because they were on the same journey, trying to get all these crafts, trying to be the best martial artists in the world. But Bruce finally told him about his whole vengeance on crime, about how his parents died, and how he's gonna have this vow that he'll not let anybody else go through what he went through. Now, GhostMaker responds with, no, I don't like that. My whole thing is I'm trying to become the best martial artist. I'm just doing it for the craft. You have this whole childish vengeance that I don't like. So GhostMaker decides, I'm gonna kill you. So they go from friends to enemies in seconds. Now, they fought for a while, and eventually they became enemies. They weren't really friends anymore. And Batman says to Dick, over the next few years, he would find me to try and prove that he was the better student, and that he would be the better crime fighter. I saw him again at the end of my journey. I told him he wasn't welcome in Gotham City. He said that I wasn't welcome in any city he set up camp in. We agreed. So this time, he'll get the bad guy. He'll send him home. So, GhostMaker's not allowed in Gotham City, but Batman's not welcome anywhere else that GhostMaker is. Now, Dick looks at him and he says, Bruce, you know you're not weak, right? I don't have to tell you that. I mean, you're Batman. Now, Batman says, I don't feel weak. And Dick says, but you miss your friend. Batman looks down and he says, yes. Now we shift, and Barbara, listening to this whole conversation, says, wow. And Dick says to her, yeah, it was something else. I know Bruce reached out to him when he went full Batman Incorporated a while back. He wanted him to help run the program. It didn't go so well, so Batman and GhostMaker fought again during that time period. Now, Dick says, I asked about him when I was with Spiral. I learned that he operates mostly in Southeast Asian countries. He pops up in a city and spends a year cleaning up crime and weeding out corruption, leaving a trail of bodies with little evidence that he was ever there. Most of the world intelligence circles still think he's an urban legend, but there are a few classified reports I read of run-ins between him and the Great Ten in China. Him pursuing triad leaders into the mainland. Without their sanction, they aren't fans of his. Now, Barbara says, how do you know so much? And Dick responds, I had it in my head that he was Bruce's real first partner. So Dick thought that GhostMaker is kind of like an adversary to him. Like, oh, GhostMaker's Batman's true first partner, and Dick needs to beat him up and stop him, right? He needs to find out about him so he doesn't lose his validation of being the first partner of Batman. Now, that's when Barbara gets a call from Stephanie Brown, aka Spoiler, and Stephanie says, Batgirl's calling in to Batgirl Prime. Now, Barbara says, I don't think we've had that conversation, Spoiler. Now, Stephanie says, hey, if there can be 1 billion Robins, I don't see why there can't be 3 Batgirls. Now, Barbara says, I agree, in principle, but let's keep focused. What did you find? And we see that Stephanie Brown and Cassandra Cain, they look at the wall, and they find out that Batman, Clown Hunter, and Harley Quinn have been shipped to Arkham Asylum because Poison Ivy has used her plants to form the word Arkham. So now Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown are going to go to Arkham to rescue Batman. Now we shift to Arkham Asylum, and we see that the Clown Hunter wakes up. And after a little banter between him and Harley Quinn, he's not tied to his bed like Batman and Harley Quinn. Batman gets up, and he then reveals to the Clown Hunter that Harley was there the night that Joker killed Clown Hunter's parents. So Clown Hunter is very mad. He says, looks like that weird sword guy left me a bunch of toys to play with. He walks around. He says, always wanted one of these. He picks up a sword. And that's when Batman says, don't do this. Now, Clown Hunter goes over to Harley Quinn, puts a sword over her neck, and says, sorry, Batman. I've been waiting for the chance to do this for so long, and I'm going to make it hurt. Harley is crying. She's afraid for her life, and Clown Hunter is about to kill her. Batman's helpless. He can't stop this. And that's how we end Batman number 104. So guys, that was Batman number 104, and guys, this issue was weaker than the others, alright? One of the weakest issues in James Tynions' Batman run, and there's a lot of flaws there, right? And I'm first going to start out with the artwork, guys. So there's 4 different artists in this book. There's Ryan Benjamin, Danny McKee, Ben Gale, and Gillian March. Now, the big problem with having 4 artists in one book, in one issue actually, is that it's so jarring, it takes you out of the issue. And this issue, for me, it was very hard to read because of that. Because I'm not talking about the writing, alright? Just talking about the artwork. You have the beginning of the issue, which with Batman, GhostMaker, and Arkham Asylum, right? And the artwork is not terrible there. It's detailed, and it's interesting. Now, does it fit the tone? In my opinion, not so much. It's not my favorite artwork to be in a Batman book, but it at least is detailed and has some nice touches to it. Now then, we shift to the old Nightwing and Oracle scene where they're, like, talking to each other on, like, the comms. Nightwing is stopping, like, this robbery in Bloodhaven. He's going to Gotham City. And that whole scene, like, the artwork there is so different from the artwork from the beginning of the book. And that actually artwork in that scene with Nightwing looks so rushed. Like, it's actually my least favorite in the issue. It just, in my opinion, looks terrible. Like, it looks rushed, it looks cartoony, it doesn't fit the tone, and it's so jarring, guys. I did not like it. Now we go to Gillian March's artwork, and it's even more drastic, because you go from this cartoony and rushed artwork to now this more detailed and entirely different, like, style, right? Now, Bengal, I know there's 4 artists, but I feel like it feels like there's 3 artists in this book. Like, if you know that there's 4 artists in this book, you probably think there's 3. So, at least there's probably 2 artists, like, their styles are a little bit the same. But, even if there's, like, 3 different artists that their styles are so different, it just takes you out of the issue, alright? For me, alright? And it's hard to read. And that's actually a big problem right now. And, like, we used to have Scott Snyder's Batman run. We had Greg Capullo the entire time. And that was great. It kept the tone consistent, it looked good, it looked detailed all the time, it was amazing. I really like that. And when you read all the storylines like Endgame, Death of the Family, I always get those mixed up, Death in the Family and Death of the Family, but say, Core of Owls, all those different storylines. It's easy to read and trade because the art is consistent. Now, I'll say the same thing about James Tynion's last story arc, Joker War. We had Jorge Jimenez's artwork throughout. And guys, you know I love Jorge Jimenez's artwork. It looks clean, it looks perfect for Batman. Now, we have that throughout the story arc, and when you read Joker War and trade, it's easy to read, alright? It's easy on the eyes, the artwork is consistent, and it looks good. Now, I don't know why, but this storyline, Ghost Stories, it just, for some reason, they decided to do something different. Like, the last 2 issues has had, like, different artwork, and it's been, like, had, like, a interchange of artists, and this issue is, like, the big one that stuck out to me. Like, the last few issues, I kind of saw it, but I didn't feel like it was a big problem. Like, it wasn't, like, 4 artists in one book, where this one had 4 different artists, and it was so recognizable. It was like, wow, you can already see it, and it was so hard to read. So now, when you read this story, Ghost Stories, in trade, it's gonna be jarring, guys. It's gonna be drastic. There's gonna be so many drastic changes in artwork that it may ruin the story for people. And I hope DC fixes that. And James Tynion's next Batman story, I hope it just has 1 artist, alright? And I know that they're trying to have a Batman comic come out like every 2 weeks, and it's hard to keep artists on board because they have like these deadlines. I get that. But if that's the case, make Batman a monthly comic again. Because that made Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo easily make the New 52 run. Because they have a month to get their stuff together, make an issue, make it solid, make it really good, and Greg Capullo can keep up. So maybe this whole 2-week deadline, it ruins the chance of having just 1 artist on 1 story arc, and I honestly prefer that more than an interchange of artists. But yeah, guys, that's my thoughts on the artwork in this issue. You tell me your thoughts on it down below. Do you like an interchange of artists? Do you like a non-consistent tone? Or do you agree with me that 1 artist on 1 issue is way better and it's easier to read and it's not jarring? Now, to the story with James Tynion, my flaws there is there's some on-the-nose dialogue in this, alright? Especially in the interactions between, like, Barbara and Stephanie Brown, aka Spoiler, where Spoiler's like, hey, Batgirl to Batgirl Prime. That was kind of on the nose, and there's a couple of other on the nose moments, but that's not a big flaw, but I had to point it out. Now, other flaws is the origin of GhostMaker. Though that scene between Robin and Batman I thought was cool. I do like seeing Robin, he's back in his one costume, like the older one, and he's talking to Batman in the Batmobile, and it just gave some nostalgia, right? It was a cool scene. But it didn't really reveal anything. It told us the same thing we already knew. Okay, Ghostmaker and Batman, they were friends when they were younger. They trained, they tried to learn all these martial arts. They became adversaries. Now they can't be in the same places once because they made this deal that Batman's in Gotham and Ghostmaker is in other places. More like Asian places. That's what Nightwing refers to in this issue. But we see Ghostmaker break that, now he's in Gotham to stop Batman, right? Now, there's nothing new there, and this character, it does seem similar to, like, Kaodai Ken from, like, Batman the Animated Series in the episodes like Night of the Ninja, and I think it was, like, Day of the Samurai. I may be wrong about that, but there was 2 episodes of Batman the Animated Series where you had this character, Kaodai Ken, who was very similar to Ghostmaker, right? Now, which character I think is better? I do like Kaodai Ken right now, because Ghostmaker, he just contradicts himself too much in this issue, alright? I liked him the past 2 issues, alright? But this issue, it just feels like, okay, sometimes he's level-headed, but other times he just don't make sense. Like, in the past, you find out that Batman revealed, like, his vow, his whole, like, war on crime to Ghostmaker, and Ghostmaker's response is, I'm gonna kill you. Now, on one hand, I'm like, okay, I get you, you don't like his ideology, you don't want to be friends, okay, whatever. But you're gonna kill him? That don't seem like a level-headed guy that I would want to associate with, and I can't really get behind his motives then, if he's not level-headed. Now, what makes it worse is at the end, you have Clown Hunter who's not even tied up. Ghostmaker came to Gotham telling Batman, why are you letting this kid run around kill people? But now Ghostmaker's allowing Clown Hunter to kill Harley Quinn. Now, you could make the argument that Ghostmaker is doing this to show Batman that, like, Clown Hunter is unredeemable. I get that, but at the same time, he's still breaking his whole argument. He's still allowing this kid to kill another person. So, it's just, it shows maybe, okay, maybe he's desperate, he's doing this to really prove to Batman, but if that's true, then he's not level-headed. So I feel like Ghostmaker goes back and forth between a character I do like and a character that doesn't make sense. And I feel like that's more because of James Tynion's writing, and he could do a little better with that. But yeah, guys, overall, I like Kaodai Ken more than Ghostmaker. Hopefully, Ghostmaker becomes a better character, but right now, he's a character that is not new, it's not a new idea, and he started out good, but now he's starting to not really make that much sense, and I'm starting to dislike his character. But you guys, some of your thoughts on the Ghostmaker down below, and yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on this issue. The artwork could have been better, the writing could have been better, and the ending, though it is intense, we all know that Harley Quinn is not gonna die. Like, come on, they're not gonna kill her off. So we'll see. Next issue is the finale, issue number 105. I hope this series, or not the series, this storyline, Ghost Stories, ends on a strong note, because right now, this penultimate issue does not give me hope, because this is the weakest issue in this run, and the weakest issue in this storyline. That's why I'm gonna give this issue a 6 out of 10. I'm trying to be nice with it. I don't think it's a bad issue. It is readable, but it was just all over the place, and there's so many flaws in it. So I hope it gets better. But you guys tell me all your thoughts down below. If you like the video, give a big thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next Batman comic review. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.